Welcome back to Just Talking. We have a great guest as always this coming Halloween season, and that is Celeste from Hexen Arcane. Celeste, nice to see you today.
Nice to see you too, Jason.
Okay, well, we just love your show, Hexen Arcane. It just went up in the stratosphere last year when you guys came on board. But for those who don't know, what is the Hexen Arcane program?
Hexen Arcane is, well, we focus mostly on horror hosting, but we don't want to limit ourselves. So, but we'll say we're horror hosts. We show a lot of older movies. We like to stick to the ones that a lot of people haven't seen most of the time or that you don't see all the time. We also show independent movies. We love to do that.
What does Hexen Arcane actually mean? Is that a terminology that I'm not aware of? Or what is that? What is it? The term Hexen Arcane mean?
Well, Hexen is German for witches, and arcane means sort of mysterious. So we're mysterious witches. So we didn't want to limit ourselves to only doing horror hosting with our name. So we decided to stick to something that could basically be anything that kind of speaks to our characters, which are witches.
And that's really neat because it's really like a variety show. I mean, some of the stuff that you both do is just, I mean, it's funny, it's hilarious, it's creative. There's skits involved and historical too. I think you guys even throw history into this program too, isn't that right?
Yeah, those are actually our favorites. So Morgan's sort of our resident historian. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it here today with me, but she is like a wealth of knowledge about all sorts of things. She loves doing research, and it's something we're both passionate about. We love to see the history of things, especially the dark history or the haunted, macabre, morbid side of things. So wherever we go, we try to find those ghost stories, those urban legends, or whatever interesting thing, like we go to cemeteries, who was buried there, and what can we tell their story.
Yeah. Was there ever something along the line where you were surprised of what you learned about either in the city or the state on a historical?
It's going to sound embarrassing, for me, but I didn't know that Harley Davidson started out in Milwaukee until Morgan told me when we were at the cemetery at the Davidson grave site. So and she was like, yeah, it started in Milwaukee. I was like, what? I had no idea.
And I love those skits that you guys do as well in the pieces. But I think there was one that was almost somewhat like a Pretty Woman takeoff where you were doing costume changes or something like that, or trying on different outfits.
Yeah, we just have fun. We kind of spitball ideas. We like to do a lot of we love horror, but we also like pop culture references. So we try to throw a lot of those in there, just like pretty random references. We had a episode based on Naked and Afraid, and we had one based on Walking Dead a little bit. So we like try to throw in some of the things we love into there.
How long does it take you to prepare one of these shows? Because there's so much going on in them. How long does that take?
There are shows that we plan for months in advance so we can get all the things together and we plan the story and we plan everything perfectly. And there are some that it's just a random idea that takes off. We just show up with something and then we make it happen. So it could be anywhere from, a couple months to mere minutes.
What is sort of the fascination of these horror host shows? And I'm sure you get response from the fans as well. Once you guys came on, I mean, they just came in droves. Why do you think there's such an interest out there?
I think partly because it's just fun. Like it's campy. Like you can get that enjoyment, but like we're not afraid to like make fools of ourselves for people's enjoyment. And I think that people recognize that this is not a huge budget people. These are not people out there getting paid millions. These are people that are doing it for fun and enjoyment and love of the genre and love of horror hosting. And I think that people kind of join us and have fun with us.
And also the costumes too. And sometimes the character is doing a cosplay of another character, which is really neat as well. Has that always been something of interest of you with doing costumes and coming up?
Absolutely. Morgan and I both love cosplay. We love characters. We love like paying tribute to our favorite, stars or characters. So it's something that's like really fun for us. It's for me, one of the most fun parts is just like all the different costumes and outfits and what you can kind of say with your character without using words.
Let's talk about the movies themselves that you watch, because obviously you have to. There's some research involved when you show up because you give some interesting facts and then you tie in the skits with it.
Yeah, so either we find a movie that sounds interesting and then we watch it and we make the skits around it, or we have a skit idea and we're like, okay, now we need to find a movie along this theme. So we always do research the movies, and there's a lot of times where Morgan and I have picked out a movie. We're like, we read the description, we're like, that sounds amazing.
What is one of your favorite movies that you have shown?
Um, I really like showing the independent movies. I love the movies by filmmaker Michael by Moron Productions. I think those are really fun. I think he has a great stories, so I like doing those. And I really like the really bad movies. So some of the really weird movies we've shown, like Frankenstein 80 or Belle from Hell, that are just the most terrible movies ever. I love showing.
I like you made a comment in there where it's like it's Frankenstein 80, but it was like made in 1973. So yeah, things like that. And then you tell jokes on the show too. Well, can you enlighten us with one of your jokes?
Just one I told Morgan recently that she absolutely loved, and so I'm going to say that since she's not here to refute it.
Okay.
So, what do you call witches who live together?
I have no idea what.
Roommates.
Very good. See, I love them. I think every joke you've told are perfect. Morgan maybe have a different opinion, but I think they're just hilarious.
Yeah, she gets embarrassed and walks away when I do that in person.
Yeah. The chemistry with both of you on camera is just absolutely terrific. Is that like as well as off camera as well?
Oh yeah, we are, show sisters, best friends. We like to hang out on and off camera.
Well, let's talk Halloween. So we got Halloween coming up. Is that a special time for you, the Halloween month or the Halloween date?
Absolutely, 100%. It's my favorite holiday. It's something I really get into. I love dressing up. I love doing costumes every year. I love decorating my house and yard. And I have like a special Halloween tradition I do every year, and I look forward to it.
Any memorable Halloween moment that you can share with us?
Having a Halloween party that 3 schools were talking about the next day because we all terrified the children. We had one of my friends who's really big and tall with a chainsaw with no chain on it in their yard, dressed as Leatherface. We had a scarecrow hanging on the fence and just jumped up, and it was like the talk of the town. It was great.
And with your show, that's tied into it. Right off the bat, I could tell it's a very creative program.
Yeah, this year I'm really excited to go to Dr. Destruction's Halloween party.
Oh yes, that's right. I think you guys were in that Milwaukee magazine just recently too. So
Yeah.
what kind of response do you get?
We've had amazing responses from people. Like, people have been so generous, so kind on Patreon. We have great supporters on Patreon. We have gotten really nice comments on our inbox, on our YouTube, email. Just people have been so supportive. And when we branched out on our own and made our own show, everybody was so willing to help us out, give us suggestions, and promote us and support us. So it's been overwhelming, the response we've gotten.
Well, let's talk about your website and your social. Let's talk about the website itself. What's on your website?
On our website, you can find a little information about us and our show. We have the latest episode that we always have featured there on the different ways to watch our episode. And then we have like the archive of all of our past episodes if you want an easy link to find each episode. If you're looking for a certain movie, we have them organized by year in case we ever end up doing the same movie again. And then also our little shop with some Hexen Arcane merch. And from time to time, if there's a cause that's really close to our hearts, we like to feature that on there.
Okay, we show your program on 8 p.m. on Fridays on Kenosha Community Media on Channel 14 Spectrum, but you're also shown other places too, or online, correct?
Yes, our YouTube, if you look for youtube.com/Hexen Arcane, you can watch all our episodes on demand. We're on the Roku channel, Suburban Screams. We play seasonally on Chicago Can TV and Beerflix Roku channel as well.
Excellent. Okay, I think that's it. Was there anything else before we go?
Yes, thank you so much, Jason, and thank you for all the time for your support and your supportive comments. That means a lot to us, and for playing our show.
Okay, well, Celeste, we thank you so much for talking with us today. And if there's one thing I always want to say to you, happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween, and we will hex you soon.